Post-fight, Joyce TKOs Bermane Stiverne. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working now. Congrats to Joyce, who knocked out Bermane Stiverne, and this was classified as a step up for him. So again, shout out to him. This was aired in the U.S. and the States on Showtime on the Chris Eubank versus James DeGale card. I already put out my Chris Eubank James DeGale video, and you know, Eubank did what he did. I thought he looked pretty good, pretty sharp. James DeGale kind of looked Bermane Stiverne is like past it. Some people are saying that they should retire, things like that. But you know, this was a solid fight for ITV, you know, or solid card, I guess you could say, ITV. Joyce, it's weird because he's gone far in the Olympics, and he kind of started his pro career late, and they're moving him. This was a step up. I wasn't all the way impressed with this performance. I think him and Abel still have some work to do. I don't know, maybe it's a stylistic thing, but like, he's clearly powerful because he keeps hurting guys, but the way he punches, it just seems wide, and it seems like it takes a while for the hit to actually land on the target. I think some of that is Bermane Stiverne. He's basically shell-shocked from the Wilder fight, and I'm not trying to take away credit from Joyce, but clearly Bermane Stiverne has not looked the same since the Wilder fights. And the thing is, what I learned in boxing is sometimes getting knocked out can be more of a benefit for a fighter's career than taking 12 rounds of solid punches from a known power puncher and knockout artist. For example, Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder is like, you know, he has like a 90%, whatever it is. Only 2 people went the distance with him, and I don't even know, Tyson Fury almost was, you know, out of there. So whatever. But it's, you look at the people who have had like fatal or mortal injuries, it's that sustained, because your brain starts to swell, so that sustained beating and punishment. And that's what Bermane Stiverne pretty much took in the first Wilder fight. And then he fought later that year against Derek Rossi, who's not really considered a world beater, and he got knocked down in that fight too. So sometimes, you know, and technically in the Wilder fight, they didn't rule it as a knockdown. So how you get knocked down by Derek Rossi, but Wilder didn't officially knock you down, you know, even though it was a knockdown because Stiverne tackled him. But the point I'm making is this, is I think that hard 12 rounds of, you know, getting pummeled by a big puncher, it put a lot of mileage on Bermane Stiverne. And then in the second, there was a lot of banter back and forth about, you know, I'm gonna catch a body, I want a body on my resume, and they're talking about killing each other and stuff like that. And it ended bad for Stiverne in the rematch. You know, I was there, you know, the first round knockout, and we haven't really seen Stiverne look the same since. And I think it's definitely part of it. A lot of miles were added on those 2 Wilder fights, especially the second one. You know, especially, what does that do to your confidence? First round, you said you're going to destroy him, he said you're going to destroy you, and then you get knocked down 3 times, and he barely even threw punches in the second Wilder fight. And that's kind of what we've seen show up in the Joyce fight. The other thing is Stiverne, you know, I feel bad for him, you know, but he didn't look like he's in the best shape that he's been in career-wise and stuff. He said he apologized for the Wilder fight, and we're going to see a different one, but you know, he just couldn't capture the victory. So shout out to Joyce. I still have some things I need to see from Joyce. Like, I understand why Abel Sanchez says they're not fighting Luis Ortiz, because to me, that would be a very, very hard, right now from what I'm seeing from the eye test, you know, and this was the step up. That'll be a very difficult fight for Joyce. And I understand he's an experienced amateur and he's heavy-handed, but again, so is Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz, to me, is more dynamic. He can box, he can get on his toes, power in both hands, plus he's a southpaw. So that would be a hard fight, because I think Luis Ortiz, he just has better counters and shorter shots, and the way Joe Joyce punches, it looks like almost like a slow motion, like 60 frames per second. Like it when it hits, it, you know, he's clearly powerful, but you know, so don't let him connect, but it looks wide. And I think a slick Cuban who can brawl and be aggressive southpaw like Luis Ortiz spells trouble. You know, even guys like Dillian White, he's been looking good. You know, he knocked out Derek Chisora. That would be a great fight. Joe Joyce, you know, but Dillian White is not as technically and defensively sound, and he doesn't have the amateur experience as a Luis Ortiz. So I think that is a more even fight for Joe Joyce. You know, Dillian White, that actually, I'm glad I thought of that. That's something I want to see. You know, Dillian White, even a Dominic Brazil and Joe Joyce. So I'm not encouraging people to duck or avoid Luis Ortiz, but again, I can understand why Abel Sanchez feels he needs more fights with Joe Joyce, because I don't see, you know, from what I'm seeing here with the Bermane Stiverne and the Hanks performance and stuff like that, even though his manager was, you know, running off the mouth saying that Joe Joyce would destroy Luis Ortiz, and I have to see that, because from what I've seen, that'll be a very, very, very difficult fight for him. But, you know, props to Joe Joyce. You know, it's not Luis Ortiz is not signed or anything, so we'll see what's next. But he just needs to keep doing what he's doing, knocking people out, stepping up, getting the professional rank. The thing I like about Joe Joyce is he seems pretty, I don't know about the, you know, the people talking for him, but as far as him, he seems like a humble cat and pretty laid back, and he seems like he's honest with himself. Like, he said something recently about, like, he's not ready for this fight, or he's not on Wilder's level yet, or something like that. So the knockout won't probably come in the first round like Wilder did it. And that's smart. You know, I like when fighters are keeping it real with themselves, because again, Wilder had to learn on the job, went to the Olympics, got the bronze medal, had to learn on the job, and has 40 plus fights now to get where he's at. So, you know, it takes time. Let me know what you guys think of Joe Joyce versus Bermane Stiverne. I don't really see where Stiverne would even go from here, you know, because the last two losses are pretty bad. The referee had to stop it, had no choice but to stop it. He was taking, you know, actually one thing I did like about Joe Joyce, he let his hands go, and I liked his uppercut, you know, but the punches seem like they're coming at a slow, like, volume. I don't know, maybe it's different when you're in there, but Bermane Stiverne, I have to attribute some of it to the Wilder loss. I think he was a bit shell-shocked and gun-shy from the jump. Let me know what you guys think of the fight. Who do you want to see Joe Joyce fight next? But he advances. Boxingego, you know, for your boxing videos, boxing news. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego. Sign out. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.